Imagine receiving a paycheck for hundreds of millions of dollars from the NBA without ever owning a stadium, without hiring a single player, and without your team playing a single second of basketball for 40 years. This is not a fantasy. This is the story of Ozzie and Daniel Silna, two textile businessmen from New Jersey who pulled off the greatest legal heist in sports history. In 1976, they found themselves holding a dying basketball franchise that the NBA refused to absorb. Everyone thought they were ruined, but instead of crying, they hit a tiny, lethal loophole inside a 4-page legal contract. A loophole so powerful that it legally forced the NBA to pay them a percentage of every single television deal for decades. By the time the NBA realized what they had signed, it was too late. Two brothers with a ghost team had built a massive, unstoppable money machine. Welcome to Capital Wars. To understand the genius of their trap, we have to go back to the mid-1970s. Back then, the NBA did not have a monopoly on professional basketball. They were locked in a brutal, cutthroat war with a rival league, the ABA, the American Basketball Association. The ABA was flashy, chaotic, and revolutionary. They invented the three-point line and the slam dunk contest. But while the ABA had the style, the NBA had the television networks and the stable capital. By 1976, the financial war had bleeding both leagues dry. The ABA was collapsing under massive debts, and the NBA was desperate to end the competition. Enter the Silna brothers. Seeing an opportunity, Ozzie and Daniel bought an ABA team called the Spirits of St. Louis for just $1 million. Their goal was simple: wait for the inevitable merger between the two leagues and ride their team straight into the wealthy NBA empire. But just 2 years later, when a merger finally happened, the NBA made a ruthless executive decision. They agreed to absorb only 4 ABA teams: the Nuggets, the Pacers, the Nets, and the Spurs. The Spirits of St. Louis were officially left out in the cold. The NBA offered the Silna brothers a one-time buyout of $3 million to pack their bags and go away forever. Most businessmen would have taken the cash and left. But the Silna brothers looked at the math, looked at the future of television, and decided to play the ultimate game of financial poker. The Silna brothers told the NBA they would accept the shutdown of their team under one specific condition. Instead of a standard $3 million cash buyout, they wanted a piece of the future. They negotiated a contract that granted them $2.2 million up front, plus 1/7 of all television broadcast revenues generated by the 4 former ABA teams that entered the NBA. But here is the billion-dollar catch. The contract contained 2 words that would haunt the NBA for the next 4 decades: in perpetuity. It meant forever. In 1976, NBA executives laughed. Back then, basketball games weren't even broadcast live. They were played on tape delay late at night. The league's TV rights were worth almost nothing. The NBA believed they had just tricked 2 small-time businessmen into accepting a worthless piece of paper. But then, the 1980s and 90s arrived. Cable television exploded. Superstars like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan turned the NBA into a global entertainment powerhouse. Television networks started fighting over broadcast rights, pouring billions of dollars into the league's coffers. And every single time a network signed a new multi-billion-dollar check to the NBA, a massive slice of that money legally bypassed the league and went directly into the bank accounts of Ozzie and Daniel Silna. Without a single player, without a single coach, and without selling a single hot dog, the brothers were making more money than the active teams in the league. The piece of paper the NBA thought was worthless had just become the most efficient passive income machine in human history. By the early 2000s, the NBA realized they were caught in a legal death trap. The Silna brothers had already extracted nearly $300 million from the league. Every attempt by NBA lawyers to break the contract failed. The wording was airtight. The loophole was unbreakable. The Silna family literally held a financial chokehold over the most powerful basketball league on earth. The situation became completely unsustainable in 2014. The NBA was preparing to negotiate a massive, historic $24 billion television deal with ESPN and Turner Broadcasting. If that deal went through under the old contract, the Silna brothers would have legally walked away with billions more. The NBA commissioner had no choice. They had to pay the ransom. In January 2014, after months of secret, brutal corporate negotiations, the NBA finally managed to buy out the Silna brothers. The price to make them disappear? A staggering $500 million in cash. Combined with the $300 million they had already collected over the years, Ozzie and Daniel Silna turned a $1 million investment into an $800 million empire. It remains, to this day, the most expensive mistake the NBA has ever made. The NBA built the modern empire of basketball, but two textile brothers from New Jersey wrote the rules of the game. They proved that in the world of high-stakes business, a single sentence in a contract is worth more than the greatest superstar on the court. Who do you think pulled off the ultimate business move here? Was it genius or just pure luck? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to discover more hidden financial wars behind your favorite industries, hit the like button and subscribe to Capital Wars. The battlefield is always open. See you on the next one.